This is Let's Talk About Magnum PI, the podcast from fans for fans of Magnum PI.
Yay!
Hello everyone, welcome to the Magnum PI podcast. I'm Eve.
And I'm Liz.
And we have...
Phil.
as a guest. Today we're doing the Day of the Viper episode.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, one of mine too. My friend Laura explained a concept to me. It's called cookie episode. Apparently it comes from Remington Steele from a certain episode, and it means that this is the episode where a good show turns into your favorite TV show. Mm-hmm. And I think Day of the Viper is the cookie episode for some fans.
I would say so.
Pretty sure.
Yep. I liked all the action.
Me too. I like the background. A little, the manipulation that we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Phil?
I don't know really exactly. The episode itself is rather interesting, so to speak.
It is.
Unusual. But it's also getting more idea of the backgrounds of Higgy. And I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and unusual in what way?
Well, I have to say, in the beginning, when I first started watching the show, I did in the first episode or two compare it to the show of the 80s. And very soon I realized, no way. Block the 80s out and start with this new one, and it's amazing. The cast, the show itself. In the 80s, I have to say, I loved the show because of the car. The Ferrari, that was my favorite car, and I love the show for that. But this show, the reboot, what isn't there to like? The whole show is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Every story they show, every story they make, there is something in it. There is a message in it. And there's nothing to describe it, but I love it.
Yeah, that's true. The old show, there's a lot to say for it, but there's also some things to say where you can point out it's in the 80s, so it has themes from the 80s, and those don't go in our current environment anymore. You shouldn't try to do that. And as far as reboots go, I think Magnum PI is one of the reboots that recognized that very, very early on and never tried to emulate the 80s show while keeping the theme of Ohana alive and taking it to where it should be now.
Yeah,
that's true.
And also bringing in some of the elements, but updating them so that they fit in the current time. Like the car, right? We still have the red Ferrari, but it's not the red Ferrari from the 80s. And we still have a Higgins. Yeah. We saw the Higgins, but they gender swapped, right? So they've added an layer to that too, right? So it's kind of...
We also have a Brit that actually knows how to do a Brit accent because it's a Brit, not a Texan actor.
That's true.
So, nothing against that, but to this day I don't understand why not just cast a Brit for a British character. Because, I'm sorry, but even back then they existed and they were available, and it shouldn't have been too hard to just get a Brit. It's a little less work for everyone, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I think the way that Perdita plays it, I think for Higgins, because it was a British character, I think it's only good that they use that now in a female Higgins, but British.
They should have used it in the original Higgins too. In my honest opinion, because as Perdita proves...
Wasn't John Hillman a Brit?
No.
No, he was from Texas.
Really? You could have fooled me.
He was American.
Okay, then.
If you ask our most vocal Brit on Twitter, which is Tori, Dr. Tori, she'll point out the flaws of that British accent very accurately.
Okay.
Like,
No, still a lot to learn.
I mean, there's a lot to learn for everyone. I don't think there's anyone who knows the insides of all the episodes, except maybe Lankov.
Of the reboot?
And the original. I mean, you basically have to pick it apart to do a proper reboot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what's fun with these shows. It's more up to date now.
Definitely.
The shows you have now, the whatever goes wrong at the moment in the world, you see that happening in the show as well. And it's no more a taboo. There's been a chance to talk about it. And I think it's important.
I mean, the COVID pandemic is a very interesting example for that. Sorry, the word just escaped me for a moment. It's an interesting example for that because there's other shows that made it a theme for like an entire season, whereas Magnum PI has it canonically happened, but we're like, yeah, we're done with that. We're still experiencing what happened in COVID, but we're not making it a theme because this show is based on escapism.
Yeah.
And so sometimes they draw from the real life, but intentionally deviate because...
I remember when that article came out. When that article came out and people were asking, is there going to be, like, are you going to touch on COVID in season 3? And they were saying, it happened, we're going to acknowledge it, but it's not going to be part of our show because, like you said, our show is about escapism and nobody wants to sit in front of an hour of Hawaii through COVID when they would rather just be Hawaii without...
Though having COVID in Hawaii, not having COVID in Hawaii, but being in Hawaii during COVID was kind of fun.
Yeah.
There is, and I will never forget that, Ala Moana Center in Honolulu. You could literally tell where someone was from based on their use of masks. It was so funny. So everybody who kept wearing a mask, even at the outdoor places, Hawaiian. Everybody who took the masks off as soon as you left an indoor store, European or otherwise, everyone who just basically never wanted to wear these masks, Americans! It was so obvious. Of course, there is the exceptions to the rules, like I never took off the mask, I'm serious. Look at me, I'm not Hawaiian. But, yeah, it was quite telling.
Even you, at least in the Netherlands, you don't have to wear a mask anymore.
No.
It's in a way strange, I think, sometimes. When we go to Germany, visit the zoo, now it was free, but moments when you go indoors, from where the animals stay at night, then you have to wear a mask out of security for the people who work there and for the animals who stay inside. Then you have to wear a mask, but outside, you can just walk free around.
It was the same way back in December in Hawaii. I think the mask mandate is completely dropped in Hawaii as well too. But back when we were on Hawaii, on Oahu, you had to wear a mask indoors, but you didn't have to wear it outdoors. It was strongly recommended though that you put it back on in crowds. And again, the same thing happened. Hawaiians wore masks in the crowd. Some Europeans put them on. Americans, nah. It was hilarious.
Well, I think if that's the rule and it's recommended, it's for your own safety. I would wear it. Simple as that.
I'm not gonna get into any debate. I would wear it too, but it was just like this jarring difference that you could see in how some countries handled it and how some citizens of certain countries handled it based on the general, not population, the general attitude of certain politicians.
Mostly the politicians put people in a way that you don't, you do your own rules. If the politics say you don't need to follow that, then nobody will listen to that anymore. But I should think it's your own safety and your own health
it is
needed.
It is.
I mean, I had COVID for maybe a week or two, and I was just a sniff, a minor cold. I'm lucky, but you could be very sick with lung pneumonia or whatever you can have.
I mean, I think all three of us had COVID at this point.
Yeah.
I brought it back from Hawaii.
And you are healthy now?
Fully healthy. I've had like a little bit of a residual thing for a week after, and then completely healthy. No long COVID, luckily.
Yeah.
But that was jarring going to training. MMA training while you can't breathe properly. Whew!
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would not be fun.
Thank goodness I recovered. Okay.
I can't believe that.
Okay, let's go to the episode.
Yes.
So, we're starting with a broken intercom. And my personal question is, aren't you the head of security, Magnum? Why is the intercom still broken?
Because he's lazy.
Yeah.
Also, do you think Ian lied? Do you think that the intercom, like, obviously the intercom was broken because Higgy called about it before, but do you think that Ian sort of used that as an excuse as to why he hopped the fence?
Not necessarily, no.
No, you think he was telling the truth?
He lied about a lot of things. I don't think he lied about that because he didn't need to.
That's true, I guess not.
And
why did he go to Higgy? That's my other question.
Ha! I think I have an answer for that. What do you think, Phil? Why did he come to Higgy?
You know her from the past. And he knew that if he went to Higgy, she would help out without any questions asked. Because of the past.
Yeah, but haven't we met Higgy where there are questions asked? About people in her own past, about people that she just met? Where something like that would be like, how the fuck did that happen? Why are you investigating and why are you off the book? Where she goes to way more backstory.
This is the first time that you really see Higgy go in a story in the past.
Yeah.
As I can recall.
It is. I think my answer for that is it's in a little bit later. Ian, there's this moment where Ian looks to Magnum and Kumu, and Julia tells him, "You can trust them." And even later, when he tells Magnum that this is not the Higgy that he knows, and that was for me okay, now I know why he came. The Higgy that. It wasn't about not trusting Magnum or Kumu. It's about them being there because he's used to Higgy being who he knew. Basically, listening to everything Wiper told him. Kind of manipulating and gaslighting her at some points. And he does it in the episode too. That's why he came to Higgy, because he thought he could manipulate her to whatever he needed. However, there's Magnum and Kumu.
Yeah.
Who are suddenly a problem.
Yeah, Higgy changed for the better.
She did.
And not being manipulated that easy anymore.
Yeah. He thought he could come, influence Higgy, gaslight her into doing... Exactly. Not necessarily killing. But
getting him out, getting him out of the consulate, so that I guess maybe Ian was going to go kill him after, because we don't actually know what Ian's plan was post-extraction.
I don't think he wanted Higgy to kill him, because then his cover would have been blown in front of Higgy. Like, sure thing.
He just needed the distraction made.
Yeah, he needed the info.
Yeah, and the distraction. Yeah, because he tried to get the info from Fiona.
He just wanted to, silence the dude, no matter what.
I love that exchange between Higgy and Fiona.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite moments.
Definitely. I love, especially now that we've seen season 4, I love how useless she was at faking an American accent.
Yeah.
But
That
Ian,
was...
Ian is British, or not? Or is he also an American with a good accent?
I've seen it in some British shows, so I think he's British. Didn't actually look it up though.
Wait, where's my phone? I thought it was sitting behind me. There it is. I will Google it.
Oh wait, are you wearing your aloha dress?
I am.
Oh,
I am.
oh. So that dress that she's wearing is straight from Oahu. We brought that back.
I did. It was with me in the country.
Oh, in your green screen room.
Yes, with my lovely green screen, as you guys can see behind me.
At one point,
Looks really Hawaiian.
It's true. I actually have a surfboard. Okay, this I need to. Yes, I actually have a surfboard. Wait, I don't know. Can you guys see it?
Oh, that's pretty.
Amazing.
It's and then we want to redo because I'm at like the family cottage and we want to redo my room. So my mom was like, "We'll do a Hawaiian theme if you want."
Obviously, you want.
I was like, "Yes, I do." Hang on, I'm looking up the cast now.
My lord.
So I got it that Ivy is from Hawaii and Elizabeth lives somewhere in the United States. Am I correct?
No.
No.
Quite wrong, actually. Liz is Canadian.
Yes, I am Canadian.
And I'm technically in the country next to yours. Germany.
Really? Serious?
Seriously.
Wow.
I've been in Hawaii for a prolonged time. I will be back, but I'm not I wasn't born there. My Hawaiian friends say that it's basically my second home, and it kind of is, but German. Born and bred German. Went to school in England for a bit. Yeah.
He is, in fact, British. Nigel Lindsay. Born in London.
What was he in?
He has been in Four Lions, Richard II, First Knight, White Gold, Alan Partridge.
Midsummer Murders doesn't remind me of something. He showed up in Midsummer Murders, I believe, 1 or 2 times.
Probably.
Could be.
But he did it. As a young girl of 12.
Yeah. Mind you, I was like 10 or 11 back then, so I have no idea. And I don't watch old stuff.
For which one?
They repeated
Midsummer Murder.
I believe they repeated it a couple of months ago here in the Dutch station. That's how I remembered it again. It was Perdita, around 11 or 12 years old.
Yeah.
She was very good playing a manipulator.
Oh yeah. That actually, I've vague recollections. Like 2 years ago, I've seen some of that. She's good. She's a great actress.
She's good.
Without a question, and she showed it in this episode. Like,
impressive.
I like
her emotions in this episode. Like the thing that strikes me the most.
Yeah.
Is when he tells her like it's Jules, it's Viper Jules, and then she just kind of like walks away, and then it kind of turns around, and then everyone's like, "Who is he?" And she's like, "He murdered the man I loved." And I just like that like emotion that she shows at that moment. I absolutely love.
I love the moment in the police car with TC where she realizes who Ian is and what that means for her. This entire loss of confidence in him, betrayal, and at the same time she's questioning so much, and you can tell it.
Mm-hmm. She's completely crushed. I mean, in the past she could rely on Ian and she could trust Ian with everything they did.
Well, at least she saw.
At that moment, she hears that Ian is the one who's responsible for the murder of Richard.
Yeah, she thought she could trust him and rely on him, and now she learns she never could.
Yeah, he's a bad guy.
Okay, here's a question for you guys. Richard, not Richard, sorry, oh my god. No, let's not bring back Richard, I'll stand by that. Ian at one point points out that just the week before, where is it? Just the week before Richard was killed, he and Higgy either told him or decided that they wanted to quit MI6 and start a family.
Yeah, that's correct. They did. That was the week before.
Just a few weeks before, I think.
Yeah. So it was recently before Richard got killed.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys think that the reason for him killing Richard is actually that Richard found it out? I mean, he probably did. But do you think the reason is that Richard found it out, or did Richard find out because Viper wanted to kill him because it deprived him of his two major assets?
Could be.
And that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Suddenly his two major assets, the people that he can manipulate and gaslight into serving him, leave MI6. So off one, keep Higgy, the one that's easier to manipulate maybe.
I think Ian killed Richard because Richard found out that Ian was the Viper.
That's what he said.
That's what he said, yeah.
I don't trust him.
I think that might be true, because if you find out that someone in your team knows that you have a double role. I mean, he was an MI6 agent and then he turned into a criminal, so to speak, for money, maybe? And Richard found out. That's why he had to get rid of Richard. Because that might be
that's
change the
one
word
option.
for Ian in danger.
Yeah, that's definitely one option. That's the option that he goes with. But I keep questioning, because it was brought up that it's so recent that he learned about Richard and Higgy wanting to leave that. Did Richard actually find it out before or after Viper decided to kill him? He did. He definitely found it out, but at the very least, when the gun was pointed to his head.
Yeah, and also because, you know, there was all this talk that the Viper was like unfindable and uncatchable, and then all of a sudden Richard finds out. You know, so it's like, maybe, like you said, maybe Ian did it on purpose, and then, you know.
I mean, that's
because
the
of the
one
Higgy
question
thing.
we'll never have an answer to.
Maybe Ian wanted Richard to join the team for the Viper. And Richard turned that down. Wanted to go with him.
I mean, but maybe that was the reason why Richard was like, yeah, we're noping out of MI6.
Or maybe Richard found out because, like what Phil was saying, like maybe Ian went to Richard and said, be part of my team, and Richard turned it down, obviously, and then he was like, hey, bye, you know.
Yeah. So even that explanation is, we'll probably never know.
No, it's not something we'll ever find out.
We'll only know Ian's
side. Could be a good storyline.
Yeah, but how would we find out?
Ian would have to escape from prison and taunt Higgy at some point. That's the only way I could see it happening.
Yeah. We're not touching the Richard Returns storyline with a 10-foot pole, because don't do it. That is a storyline that never pays off.
Him and Higgy are together, so we're not going to do that.
No, it's in theory, bringing Richard back would be a wonderful wrench in the road for Miggy, but, and that's the major but, it's never played out well. It's never done well. At least I've never seen it done well. We've seen it on Hawaii Five-0, where Doris McGarrett is suddenly alive again. That's still one of the most infuriating storylines that I've ever seen, because it changes a lot of the subtext, and it never is addressed in how the subtext is changed, because it's fucking abusive, and nobody ever sends this kid to therapy. We've also seen it on Station 19, and that is like even worse than Hawaii Five-0, because Hawaii Five-0 at least had multiple episodes regarding that, and had the character dealing with that. In Station 19, the mother of the main character miraculously returns. It turns out she was never dead. And she was there for 1 episode, 2 episodes, and almost never to be talked about again. It's like,
what they could do without bringing Richard back, but still using Richard as a wrench in the Miggy plan, is they could do like 1 episode where like Higgy finds like Richard's diary or something, or like something that like, you know, ridiculously like reminds her of Richard, and then it brings back all these like emotions, and you could see like, you know, Magnum helping her through it or whatever, you know.
Or
kind of flashbacks.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Flashbacks are dangerous. Or you could actually do both. I just realized you could have them being like, hey, I'm Richard. Someone being like, hey, I'm Richard. I want to meet you, blah, 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 blah. Turns out someone's just doing it to manipulate Higgy, and it's a one-episode storyline that's easily dropped and generates friction between Magnum and Higgy. That's the one thing I'd be happy to deal with.
Could be good.
Actually bringing him back from the dead.
And that could be, and the whole thing could be orchestrated by Ian from prison. Boom!
Yeah, because apparently in prison in Hawaii you can have a lot of reach outside, as established by like 10 seasons of 5-0 and 4 seasons of Magnum P.I. where that constantly happens.
Boom.
Prison in Hawaii still means you get access to a cell phone. For some reason. And networks of goons. I mean,
apparently.
The fictional prisons in Hawaii, not the actual
not the real prisons.
That I don't know about, but hey.
Mm-hmm.
Bless you. A silent one, but still.
Let's talk about the difference between Rick P.I. and Magnum P.I. What was that?
Rick, he's just so, like, dumb when it comes to the PI thing. And Magnum essentially tells him so at the very end when he's like, you didn't even look at a picture of who you're supposed to be, like, looking for? Like, he's like, you didn't think to look at what these people look like?
That's the first thing you normally do. Check out both sides before you start investigating.
Exactly.
You don't even have to be a PI. I had to Google someone just today just to figure out who the fuck I'm talking to.
Exactly. It's like, it's so dumb. And like,
that's the first thing you do. You first Google the person, find out who the person is, and then you start investigating. Rick started investigating without checking it out.
And also, it was so unrealistic, too, because he went to all of the trouble to take the Ferrari, the sunglasses, the Hawaiian shirt, just to fool the client who potentially has never even met Magnum before. So how would he be, you know, like, I'm assuming he's never met Magnum before, because if he had actually met Magnum before, he would have known it was a completely different person, right? So he went all out to, like, have the Ferrari and the sunglasses to, like, pull this off, and then he forgets, like, an even bigger detail of actually, like, checking who he's supposed to be looking for, but he remembers all the little tiny things, like the sunglasses. Like, come on.
They never met Magnum because they're not local. I think that's at one point implied, so they're not based on the island.
Yeah.
I found it very jarring how he never took it seriously. That's the reason why he never Googled it. It was a game to him, and it was evident by, as you said, the little details, but never actually doing any good PI work, aside from what he had TC do, which TC did, and not him. And then you literally have Magnum contrast it by going above and beyond, researching his persona for that gala, being able to answer an in-persona question.
I am David Gomez. Best burn ever.
He became David Gomez, and he took it seriously because the stakes were high for him.
Because that's Magnum.
Yeah. And he would have taken just the other case just as seriously, but I think his case, the stakes were a little bit higher for him because he's already adopted her. Like, no matter if she wanted to be adopted, but she's already adopted. But yeah, this is Higgy.
His Higgy.
And
Higgy.
I love how she never even had to ask him for that favor.
Yeah, she's like, about all those favors, she's like, you don't have to ask, I got you.
And you can see it in Jay's eyes the moment she mentions what Viper did, he's like, I'm in. I don't care what you need. Whatever you need, I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
No more explanation needed. Yeah. Fuck my payment. Put a job. I'm in.
He's like, I will figure out how to get that payment and still help you.
Yeah. 20K. 20K in debt. Thank you, Rick.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Dumb Rick.
Jay's hot. Jay. Fuck. Thomas's heart shows. I mean, Jay has a huge heart himself, but Thomas's heart shows in that episode a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Wow. I love their, like, all the interactions and the emotions of the whole episode.
You see that in every episode, the emotions coming out.
Yeah.
Especially the last season.
Oh, we're having technical difficulties, something tells me.
Oh.
I was just touched by something. Something prickly.
Ooh.
What the fuck?
That doesn't sound good.
I could have sworn my hedgehog just walked onto my foot.
I was about to say ghost.
Yeah! What the fuck? I mean, its cage is still next to me, so.
Mm.
Oh!
Weird. Weird.
His ghostly appearance is really fucking scammy.
It is weird.
It's not the first time. I mean, it's the first time I feel something, but like, right after he died, lights started to flicker.
Yes.
Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha!
Weird.
Not comfortable with that one.
No.
Anyway, let's talk about how what version of Juliet Ian knows and what version of Juliet Magnum knows.
Ian knows the insane MI6 willing to do anything for Queen and Country, more hostile, prickly Higgins, and Magnum.
The more easily manipulated Higgins too.
And Magnum knows the grieving, trying to find her place Higgins.
And the one that's slowly opening up to Ohana. And there's a third one. That's mentioned.
Go for it.
It's the rogue one.
Mm.
So we have the standoff at the end of the very end of the episode where both Magnum and Ian appeal to the Higgy they know. Higgy very interestingly decides that nope, that Higgy died a long time ago, Ian. That one is not here. In that moment, it was the rogue one. But then Magnum appealed to the one he knows.
Mm-hmm.
And she actively was like, yeah, okay, you're right. That's who I am now.
Yeah, that's who I am now.
And I specifically love how Jay portrayed that moment. Where he said, the Higgy that I know doesn't kill in cold blood. Where the acting choice of keeping his voice low, pretty much emotionless, but everything is conveyed through his eyes.
Yep.
You don't aggravate the wounded animal, but you're still like, yeah, give me my Higgy back, thanks.
Yeah. Very well acted. Very, very well acted.
Yeah, I can see why this episode is probably a favorite for a lot of people. It's one of my favorites in season 1. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's that one, for me, it's that one and Blood in the Water in season 1. 15
too.
I don't know what 15 is.
Season 1 is really Blood in the Water favorite.
It's like for basically everyone.
Yeah.
It's unanimous. Blood in the Water is like the season 1 favorite.
Yeah. I wonder how that is coming.
Oh, I wonder where that comes from.
Yep.
What's your season 2 favorites?
Oh, easy. Nights Last Forever.
Okay.
Definitely
Easy.
that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we shot our load in early in the season. Nothing else.
In season 2?
Not even the one where they break up, technically.
I actually didn't like that episode all that much.
I mean, I have to agree. It's Nights Last Forever for me too.
Yeah, it's my absolute favorite.
Yeah.
I love that one. And then in season 3, it's the plane repo one. I'm blanking on the I'm blanking on the name right now.
Episode.
Yeah, it's the second episode, but I'm blanking on the name now.
Phil, what is it for you? Season 3.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. The big payback is one of them. The way he's scared at that point when Higgy is taken.
Mm-hmm.
And they see a lot of emotions there. And I think Cry Murder is a good one.
Oh yeah, Cry Murder is a beautiful. I forgot about Cry Murder. Yes. I like Cry Murder as well. Will he
And then when he finds out there are more episodes in season 3. Number 15, Before the Fall, when he meets his uncle.
Birdo!
And when he finds out that his uncle has, at the end, a relationship with his mother.
Yeah.
Which he didn't know. There are 3 episodes that I think they are, amazing from season 3.
And then season 4, there's a bunch too. Close to Home. I really like Close to Home.
Shallow Grave, Deep Water.
Oh yeah, that is like a massive favorite for everyone. Thanks to Hernandez's stellar directing. That one.
Yeah, I like that one.
Buddy, they need to use them more often. God, I remember how we were all like, "Yay, we can't wait for season 5 for you to direct." Cancelled. Thank you.
Yeah, but that was the amazing part. I mean, that was promised to him that he could direct in season 5 more episodes, and then he hears a week later that the show's cancelled. I mean, how rude can you be?
Not necessarily a week later. That timeline, we don't actually know that timeline 100%. We don't know when it was recorded.
That's correct. But it was soon after he gave the interviews.
Yeah.
He's going to direct in season 5 another episode, and then the show got cancelled.
He basically said season 5 was a guarantee.
Yeah.
That one was painful, and from what we've seen around, from what I've seen around, especially with crew that I know personally, some of them actually found out at the same time as we did, which is painful. Again, for the save too, by the way. Some of them found out at the same time as we did.
And that's awkward. Yeah. I mean, if the fans find out in one day and then
that's perfectly normal. Perfectly normal. If you look at when it was saved, it was relatively early morning for us. It was late in the night for LA. That was when the ink was just set. It was still drying when it came out. The news came out. They didn't have time to tell anyone at that point.
Yeah.
They were just like, yeah, push it out. We're done. It's signed. Push it out. We'll take care of telling everybody else afterwards. And that's relatively normal. That's usually how it's done. So that save thing and the cancellation news, perfectly normal. Still painful for us because we'd expect them to tell them up front, but it's not necessarily what the business does, I'm afraid.
Show business is hard, but not the kind way.
Showbiz is brutal.
Yeah, it is.
Thanks to the fans, we got a season 5. Most of the fans, at least. Not entirely. I mean, the crew there and people there who pay in money to get the season 5 started. But I think the help of fans trying to save the show did a lot too.
It did something, yes, but you can't forget that if it isn't financially attractive to a network, they're not going to do anything. So if they don't think it will benefit them financially, we could yell into the void for like 1,000,000 years and they don't care. But at one point, it was the moment where they're like, this is potentially financially interesting to us. Is the fan base actually there? Would the viewers come over? And that's when they saw, okay, yeah, they're fine.
Mm-hmm.
The viewers are coming.
Mm-hmm.
We can go ahead. We're not losing money because the viewers are, okay, fine. So, like, yeah, definitely played a role, but the without the factor of it being financially interesting to NBC, it wouldn't have been done.
Yeah, very true.
Because at the end of the day, it's all about the business.
It always is.
Yeah.
Yep.
It always is.
Always about money.
Yep.
Yeah. Except for when you're TC and you kidnap someone and actually leave them with goodies. That guy is not about the money, he's actually about the comfort of the victims. That TC is silent hero of the episode, not gonna lie.
He is.
Like, I keep forgetting that, but had TC not realized the Ian Price / Viper connection first, they would be in prison.
Yeah.
And also, I don't get to this point why they kidnapped these guys.
To get the limo, yeah.
Yeah!
And the invitation. They needed the invitations.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Americans. Hawaii is currently an American state, and let's not talk about the occupation of Hawaii, but it's currently an American state. There's a lot of Americans who would probably be like, wait, you need that for an undercover operation to track down a foreign assassin? Yeah, okay, fine. I'll stay home, have my invitation, go undercover, I'll watch Netflix. Probably fork over a little bit of money, or, hey, have a helicopter ride. Done.
Bribes.
Yeah! Just try to bribe him first before you kidnap the guy.
Try to reason with them.
Yeah! Hey, actually, this guy killed so many operatives, and he's doing this and this and this, and we have the chance to take him down. With an undercover operation. Our guy is Hispanic, so you'd be the perfect person to impersonate. Are you cool with that? Here, have food, have a helicopter ride tomorrow, and we're good. Bye.
Bye.
Because helicopter ride, they give up helicopter rides all the time.
Yeah.
What's one more?
I think they didn't have time to look it up and try to talk things over a bit, a helicopter ride or anything else.
But they had time to kidnap them? They still had time to kidnap them.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like, it was probably they didn't think that long.
They didn't think that far through.
That one was easier. Kidnap, done. Instead of just being like, hey, why not? Oh, you don't play ball, let's kidnap you.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Option B.
You can have it easy or hard. Choose option one. Everybody gets happy. It's still so interesting to me that TC kidnaps people and leaves them with Poke.
Yeah. There's some Poke in there too.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. What the hell?
Like, thanks, TC.
And especially another thing why I think they could have reasoned with
David Gomez.
Thank you. He's been in Hawaiian citizen for decades. So he probably likes it to be protected. People like to have a very safe home.
Yep.
I'd rather have people go undercover and kill assassins in my neighborhood than live in a neighborhood where assassins roam freely. Even though it's bloody fucking scary to see your neighbors get raided.
Yeah.
Hi, it happened to me.
Ugh.
Let me tell you, it's so concerning when you look out of the window and there's police.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, what? You're trying to force your way into the... Okay, let me get popcorn.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and watch.
I was indoor. I was not doing anything.
Yep.
I was also specifically not filming it. But like, okay, let me get popcorn. What's going on?
Yeah, it's looking out the window.
Yeah. so wild.
Yeah. Do we have anything else for the episode? Because we have some unofficial filming news from TV Line.
Oh, go ahead, Liz.
So there was I believe it's weekly questions.
News.
Yeah. The questions, I call them questions. Because
they are questions.
They are questions. So somebody asked, when would filming start? And the answer was, they heard that it's going to be mid-September, which kind of lines up with what Knighton said when we first got saved, which he also said September.
I mean, I'm going to be bold and say Knighton probably knows better than TV Line. Because he actually has a contract for that.
So we're looking at mid-September. Because when he said it, he knew it was September. He just didn't know at what point in September. So now it's narrowed down a little bit more. Not much more, but a little bit more. We went from sometime in September to mid-September. So hypothetically speaking, a couple weeks? 3 weeks? 4 weeks? We're looking at. So, yeah. So keep an eye out for
2 to 3, actually.
Yeah. Keep an eye out for people returning to the island. And obviously, we will keep you updated here.
In 2 or 3 weeks, I guess.
Yeah.
The end of August, so maybe in 2 or 3 weeks they show up. At least
definitely.
those who are off island.
The majority is off island at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think Steven is in Jersey. Perdita should still be in the UK. Who knows where Hernandez is? I don't know where Hernandez is. His internet times are weird at the moment.
Yeah.
He could be in...
Still filming? Is he not still filming in Texas for that movie?
That's been wrapped for like 2 weeks.
Finished.
Some of his co-stars posted from the wrapping, and he was sitting on a car in the background. So that's wrapped. Wrapped. His work for that one is probably nowhere near done, but it's the kind of work that he can do from Hawaii too. So
yeah. So keep it locked to here for any filming updates, because if we have some stuff, we'll let you guys know.
Yeah. Definitely. You'll find it on our social media. If we catch it, we might be able to post a few new pictures from Hawaii mid-September.
Who knows?
We'll see. We will see.
As for... There's something coming up for the fandom in mid-September, ironically. It wasn't planned, it's just when the MPA Summer Fan Fest ends, something else might be starting, and it might get a little spooky.
Ooh.
And as for that, we're going to ask you something for the podcast. If you have any... As if the ghost of a hedgehog knew that. If you have any ghost stories, spooky stories, and you want to share it with us, tell us, and we might read them at the end of the episode. Or you could just be on here and tell your ghost story yourself.
Spooky times.
Yeah! We're entering the witchy season very soon.
Yes.
Which is perfect. I like the witchy season. I'm scared as shit of ghosts, but hey, I like the witchy season. So, where can people follow you, Phil?
I'm on Twitter and I'm on Instagram mostly.
So follow Phil, and we'll see you guys for the next episode.
Bye!
Bye-bye!
Bye-bye!